Welcome, welcome. Good morning. Morning. My name is Ace. I'm a hobbyist. I like drawing. I am learning how to do 3D art in Blender. This is our second mesh here. See, we made quite a bit of progress. I think yesterday we were, well, I don't think, I know we were doing the hand yesterday. And we're going to continue on from there. Hey, little bass guy, welcome to the stream. Good morning. We're going to continue on with the hand. I'm making these meshes to use as reference for a webcomic that I'm developing. I've already written it. I'm just designing the characters now. And it's the second character that appears in order of appearance in the story. Doing great, little big guy. Very great. We're going to continue on with what we're doing here. All right. So far, we got ourselves a full on hand. I'm trying to remember. There was something that I was going to do before I continued. Let's see. Just trying to get my bearings here. Yeah, it was the spaces in between the fingers. I think we're good so far. We gotta get out of there. We're in the wrong area. Let's see. Looking at the palm here. This needs to be adjusted. There was something else though. What was it? Is it the fingernails? No, we're gonna do that after we join everything. Mirror it. Pretty sure we're just a little. I think the hand is just a little. Well, I know what it is. It's because this is straight and these are spread out, kind of like this. That's not a natural pose, and I think that's where my eyes are telling me there's something off there, and that's what it is. But like I said, we're going to leave it like that because we're going to pose the fingers however we choose to once they're rigged. Hands are the worst. Don't care if you're drawing or sculpting; they're the worst. Yeah, they can be challenging. Yes, I think mainly is because it's not really the focus of the subject most of the time. I feel like when people are drawing a person, the hands are never where people are, drawing their attention to, unless the subject is a hand. That's really the only way, right? Either the face or the body, or whatever they got on, but never the hands. They get to the hands, maybe the feet too. They kind of just skimp out on it. We're trying not to do that here, which is why I am holding these hands under such scrutiny. Oh, I remember now. Okay. It was the space in between the fingers. We were going to adjust those. All right. Here's our hand reference. This is what I'm going to do. I should probably take the hand and and turn it around to where it looks like that. You know what? I'm going to flip the image around just so we have a matching pose there. Our hand is not as stretched, or our thumb is not as stretched, but that's okay. As I said, I'm not really too concerned about the natural pose because we can easily change that once it's rigged. We can make it as natural or as stiff as we want once we rig it. Okay, the division of the fingers is what we're looking at here. These digits here, and that's what I'm looking at, and want to make sure those are right because right now they're not, and they're kind of like fat in the wrong places. Like they're like wide here. I think I know what I was going for. Yeah, I was judging it by this side, and I think I grabbed a little bit too much. So I'm going to adjust the size of the fingers a little bit more. Now he's kind of a big guy. Like I said, you could probably see some of that in his fingers, but he's not that big. Okay, he's not. He's just slightly. I wouldn't say slightly, but you know what I'm saying. I think this hands should fit his overall body shape. So I'm just gonna stick to the reference on this. Let's see. Where do I want to start? Okay. I'm going to start with the things that are glaring the most. You know what? And I'm going to adjust it from this side because I've already adjusted it from. Wait, which finger are we on? This is the hand. What is this? I'm going to see. Hang on, give me a second. Oh, turn my speaker down. Do not want the sound to pick up twice on the mic. I don't know. I don't know what's playing. Let me see. Actually, I can figure that out right now. Oh, it's this again. You know what? I'm changing this. I feel like they played this yesterday. I put the music on random, and every time I look, it's the same tracks. I don't know. I have so much in there. Unless you like that song, I'll go back. But oh, that okay. All right. I see. Yeah, that's part of the hand. I think I was trying to adjust that finger. All right, so we're going to go to the hand, and then we're going to go to sculpt mode, and then we're going to adjust the fingers to make them just a little bit more believable as far as the shape of the digits. And having a smaller radius will help with that. I think my radius was too large when I adjusted these fingers. Give me 1 second. I feel like something entered my eye, and I'm sure like most people do not like that feeling. Okay, I kind of need to see properly. All right, let's see. Yeah, we made them a little too swollen around the knuckles here. So I'm going to try to thin that out before we continue. Oh, see, it doesn't look so bad from this side, but we did not do any adjustments from this side. I think part of the reason why that's become a problem is because the fingers are quite wide, right? So if I adjust it from the top, I'm only adjusting the top portion. We see if we use this kind of like as a dividing line here, which honestly that should not really be there because your fingers are supposed to be round. Shouldn't be any edges there, and it could be just the light reflecting off of it. I think that actually that what it might be. But using this as a dividing line anyway, I think what I was doing was I was only adjusting the upper part of the finger. Thank you for pointing out that I'm a mutant. I am not self-conscious about it. Oh, you're not a mutant. You're not a mutant. Okay, let's see. All right. So this line should be a little bit higher. We could probably leave these lines the way they are. Just move this line up. We'll adjust that once we adjust the shape. So that's what I'm going to focus on for the time being. It shouldn't take too long. Just some minor adjustments, and then we can attach all these together and then start working on redoing the knuckles. And then after that, I think, besides the fingernails, which I think will be the last thing we do, the hand should be good. Maybe we'll add a little bit more detail to the palm. And so Yogi and I found a thing, and I'm super excited about it. Oh yeah, what did you find? Is it something photography related, or are you talking about your the stuff that you were adding to Discord? Let's see. Uh, so we got that translator installed in the Discord yesterday, right? Yeah. Yeah. I remember you were saying you were talking about that. Okay, I gotta go to this finger now. Let's see, sculpt, object, sculpt mode. Okay, now we're gonna go back to sculpt mode. Now that that's selected, we're gonna keep on going. Let's see, thin these out just a little bit. Well, buckle in Star Trek fans, because now we have a universal translator for Twitch chat. Oh, really? That's awesome. Is it a good translator? Because normally, um, what I would do is like say, I'm okay. I'm a fairly decent fighting game fan, right? I like fighting games a lot. I play them. I haven't streamed them yet, but stay tuned for that. But I stream a lot of fighting games. Oh, I'm sorry, I play a lot of fighting games, and there's fighting game fans all around the world. Sometimes I watch their streams on Twitch, and what I do is I just click I right click the entire chat and put Google Translate, and that usually does a good job of translating the text, but it removes the username sometimes if the usernames are also in Japanese or whatever, whatever language. And all right, I'll check it out in a bit. So, what my question is, does it do a good job of actually translating the Twitch chat, perhaps? But I definitely will check that out. I know that's not an option for people who use Firefox. I use Edge. I kind of don't like it, to be honest, but sometimes Firefox does not open for me for some reason. Yeah, I sent you a screenshot of it working. Oh, okay. Let me see. Hold on. My tablet out of the way real quick. I'm checking now. Oh, cool. Oh, somebody else doing 3D, huh? That's cool. Yeah. Okay. Sounds like a pretty good deal. Only problem with watching uh, people for me that are not in this country that I'm in is the time frame. That's the only thing. That's the only issue. I think there was one French streamer, and she is a fighting game player as well. But I could never really align. Our times could never really align, so I kind of don't watch them as much. But yeah, that would come in handy. There are a couple of issues that were anticipated that are to be expected with any translator. For example, it doesn't handle idioms very well. It will translate. If we don't have the same phrase in English, Americans might not understand what it means. Yeah, yeah, I could see that being a thing. Oh, I'm on the wrong finger. Keep trying to see. You can't tweak. We can't do too much tweaking here. Not until the hands are together. So, for example, Photo Elite type something that translated to you have planted your last potato in Swedish. That is how they say you're done for. Yeah, I mean, that's a very easy idiom to figure out. You planted your last potato. That is what are they gonna kill a farmer or something? Jail him, arrest him. Let's see here. Okay, the general shapes are not too bad. Just gotta fix these little creases here. Fingertips are a little too long on this side. They should match where the final knuckle is, the last knuckle, the last digit where it bends, the last joint. I keep saying digit and knuckle. Just say joint. The other anticipated issue is that it uses formal language, so it uses "foo" instead of "to see" instead of "do," etc. Well, I mean, yeah, there's no. I don't think there are any. Well, I don't know. I could be wrong. What about those translators that you speak into? that translate. I know there's a lot of people who have that. I found at my job there's someone had a very like a small, it was like a PDA. It was specifically made for translating. I don't know how good they are because it was in another language, but I wonder how good those types of translators are, because people seem to understand those. So I don't know. I wonder if there's something out there that could get all the little nuances of language. It all depends on the translation engine used. Some are better than others. The best ones leverage AI, but those are also the most expensive ones, naturally. I just want a little thing, a little voice. It just makes me speak another language. Actually, I have a lot of interest in learning another language. I actually have some stuff bookmarked to learn some languages. I don't know where I would fit that into my schedule, but I definitely do want to do it. The will to do it is there. I just have to rip the band-aid off and just get started. That's not something that I want to just keep on the back burner forever. I really have a genuine interest in learning um, another language. I took a lot of Spanish classes in high school. I almost got to the point where I could speak it, but then I let it all go. Some things I can still understand, but I basically have to relearn it. It's funny you mentioned that because that's the next thing we're working on, translating live streams. We have a couple of solutions, but they are not viable because they are either super complicated to set up or extremely costly, but they do work. Yeah, that's super cool. If there was some way to do it, like to do it without having to spend a lot of money, like if you could just code some, well, of course you'd have to be multilingual yourself, and then have the programming language necessary to get make that happen. But it would be cool to have something like that without having to be charged an arm and a leg. Okay, let's see. We're gonna go to the third finger, the ring finger. No, actually, you don't have to be multilingual to code a translator. You just need access to the API for a translation engine. Google Translate's API is actually free. They have different ones because I don't know. Sometimes Google Translate, when I translate a language, another language, I can tell that it's messed up. Like it doesn't seem like it translates everything right sometimes. Some languages it seems to you get a good understanding, even though I don't know if it actually is doing its job, but I can read what it put out. It all depends if I know the subject that that's being translated, then I can understand. Say for example, Final Fantasy 11, obviously a game made by Japanese developers. If I read something in that game because I know it pretty well in another language and I translate it with Google, and then I can understand what it's saying because I know the subject, then I know that it's actually doing its job. Yes, unfortunately, there is no perfect translator. However, the fact that there are solutions and that we can understand each other puts us light years ahead of where we were, and this stuff is only going to get better with time. Oh, yes, I completely agree. I just don't know if Google has is if what Google or has built in their browser is the end all for Google. Do they have something better than that? Is the API the same thing as what they use in the browser? This I am not sure about, but it seems to get some languages pretty good. You know, sometimes, like I said, if I know the subject, I know that it's translated correctly because then I can understand what they're talking about when it comes to the subject. If I translate, I don't know, like a random article in Austria, I'm not gonna know if I'm understanding what it's saying because I don't know anything about that country. So they could literally just put anything. You know, it can put anything in English, and I'll read it. I'm like, okay, well, I can understand that, but I have no idea what's going on still. I was testing one subtitling browser extension in Das Nebi Stream a couple of days ago, and it works fairly well. There are only two issues. First, as aforementioned, it is expensive. It costs $5 an hour. Whoa! Of course it adds up. $5 an hour. Holy, yeah. I mean, no, I won't want to pay that. You know, especially usually monthly fees can get expensive. So an hour, yeah, of course, that's like paying for a lawyer, but for an app, which doesn't. Okay, yeah. A second, I noticed that if he gets to talking really really fast, the translator bottlenecks and that increases lag time. Yeah, which increases the amount that's being charged. I think it sounds like that's by design, if you ask me. Of course, it bottlenecks. That's how they get all the money, and they're not going to ever fix it. Actually, I don't know, but I mean, whether it's intentional or not, it works in their favor either way. So when it does increase the amount being charged, the rate is based on time, so it's unlimited messages and a given amount of time. Yeah, but if you really want to translate something, you're going to sit there and wait for it to to catch up, right? And that is definitely time based. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, I never used it. It just sounds to me like that could be something that, regardless if it's intentional or not, would work in their favor if somebody really wants to use their product. I don't think it's an unreasonable price at all, especially given how groundbreaking what they're doing is and the fact that it works so seamlessly. I'm just saying I can't afford that, so I have to look at other options. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but at least it's an option. If there was something really important that you can only get in another language, then it could be worth it. I'm sure I can think of a few things, in my case, like if I really wanted to learn some kind of technique in art, but it's from someone from another country and I really wanted to learn it, I think, just getting, um, if it's an online class or whatever, and just recording the whole thing and having that translator running so you can understand, that would be a good reason for me in my case. I can think of something that I could use it for. There's somebody who's really I really wanted to learn from as far as art was concerned, and they don't speak English, and you just want to get that you just want to get it so to where you can translate it. There's a free option I'm testing, but it's super complicated, and I haven't yet been able to get it to work. It's hands down the most popular translation extension for live streams, and I don't think it would be that popular if it didn't work. I'm just clearly not understanding how to use it properly. Yeah, I'm wondering if any like bigger foreign streamer have considered that, someone who could afford it and they have it on their streams and they know that people who don't speak their language would watch their streams enough to justify the cost of doing it. I wonder if there's anybody out there who utilizes that program or extension. I'm sure someone does. Hmm. Okay, that's a little now. Now it's bunching up. The meat is bunching up on the fingers there. They almost look swollen. We don't want to give them sausage fingers, so we gotta kind of get it down to natural looking size there. Oh no, this extension is for whatever, not for the streamer. There are 9 bajillion subtitling options for streamers. Have what they say translated into a given language. That if that's what I were looking for, that would be super easy. Yeah, but yeah, I thought that's what you meant because you mentioned chat and translating in real time. So I thought this was still within the context of a stream. But yeah, I get it. All right, we're gonna move on to the pinky. Let's see. Back to sculpt mode, of course. Just adjusting the. Oh, okay. We're not on that finger. Wait. I could have sworn I clicked on the pinky. I did click on the pinky. It was just something else was selected. Oh no, the chat extension translates Twitch chat. That's what's written in the chat and allows me to speak English and have everyone see it in the chat's language. What I'm working on now is a way to understand what the streamer is saying out loud. Yeah, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, and that's what I thought you were talking about. But for the viewer, not the streamer. No, wait. Let me back up. Yes. No, yeah, you were right. You were right to clarify what you were saying. I thought. Well, I know. I was wondering if the streamer had the same option for themselves. That was all. I know that the conversation was about the chat. Let me clarify the clarification. It's getting confusing. That's what I meant at the end of the day. Okay. Not you. I'm not you. You're me. Correct. On the streamer's end, it's significantly easier. There are so many OBS plugins where if they speak Spanish, they can have it translated to English, etc. But I want to be able to go into any stream and understand what the streamer is saying, no matter what language they're speaking. Well, I hope that that option is figured out. I may have to look into that as well. That'd be nice. That'd be nice to have just for a thing. Even just having a like a hard of hearing subtitle would be nice. But I'm not even sure if because I've seen that in action. Sometimes it doesn't translate very well what the streamer is saying, but it's an option. So let's try to shave down the fingers. Oh, it's going to happen. Sadly, though, most of life, I struggle with lack of motivation. However, when I do get motivated, I am unstoppable. That is the power of motivation. I find it better to just rip off the band-aid and just do it. That always works for me. If I sit on something long enough, it's I'm just not gonna do it. So I was like, okay, I really want to do this. I should just do it, and then just work from there. I think I should probably just combine the fingers now. They're in the right position. They're spaced out, and then so that way I can just work on the fingers as I go, and not having to keep switch back and forth. Oh yeah, mobile. That is definitely a different beast. Why is light visible and selectable? And I don't want head in this. We don't want to select that. Let's grab these, all three of these, right? And now we have, well, that looks like some kind of horror, some kind of eldritch horror. All right, so okay, let's see, Control and J. Now they're all one hand. It's all one. And let's see. That is a meaty hand there. Almost a million polygon, a million more polygons. Thankfully, the Discord translator operates on the Discord side, so it works no matter where I am. However, all the translation options for Twitch, both chat and audio, are on the user side, so they have to be installed on every device they are used on. And obviously, you can't use everything on mobile that you can on desktop. Let's see, I'm going to start like putting down some clay strips to try to get these fingers attached before we remesh them. That way, just try to redefine the bony landmarks, the knuckle being one of them. Yeah, and the same works for vice versa too. I wish there were a few apps that I wish were on desktop that are only on mobile. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the tendons and the knuckles back in there and just go over them. In the past, anyway, I can't even remember what it was, but I ran across a few instances where there's things that are only on mobile that I wish were on desktop. Let's see here. Let's go for that. And now we're going to deepen the pits and get the little crevices in between the knuckles. There's like just like a little valley in there. We want to get that. One good thing about using Android is that Android is Linux based, and when you start talking about Linux, even the sky is not the limit when it comes to what you can do. Yeah, Linux has a lot of options. A lot of options. One day, I kind of want to try to sit down and play with that like on a separate machine one day. I'm kind of attached to Windows, but I see that Linux is also a viable option. Linux is not as user friendly as Windows, but by God, if you are even remotely tech savvy, yeah, if you know your way around CMD, you can probably just you're just doing that the entire time for Linux. So I'm not afraid of CMD. I can get things done in it, so I don't mind that portion of it. There may be options if you use iOS, but you have to get Apple's permission first. And I'm good. I am good on that. Not an Apple person. Although those were like among the first computers that I've ever used were Macs, but no, thank you. That deepening is too large. The deepening of that little trench there that we're trying to make. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clay strip instead, but the other way, and see if we can get that little. Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna try to scrape it. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Scrape that away. I was trying to build my own last night, and I could not get the script to connect to Twitch's API. I did everything they said I was supposed to, and it would not connect. Like it would open the streamer's chat, but it would not read anything from it. Yeah, sometimes troubleshooting is going to take longer than actually setting something up. Are you sure you didn't miss a step? Oh, okay, here we go. Now we're rounding it out. No, that's pretty much. I don't know. It depends on how much webbing you got in between your fingers, but normally that's a flat surface. So I don't know. I'm not really sure how we're going to tackle this, but I'm just going to do it. I'll tell you what I will do. This little edge here, that's going to get filed down. We can start there. So just a little bit of form corrections here and there is what we're working on right now. And that is what we are going to be working on until the hand is done. We don't want to touch the fingers though. We just want to work on this little thing here. I'm very sure I didn't miss a step. I think the most likely issue is I wasn't using the correct URL for Twitch chat. For Twitch, there are several options all working together. What you see is the Twitch player. Even tried directly accessing the Twitch chat IRC API and it didn't work. Well, I hope you figure it out. Is this a CMD thing or it's just like just giving it the link? Do you know if, well, I don't know. I actually don't know if that's an option because I have no idea. I never tried anything like this before, so I can't really offer any any kind of input. Oh, I did figure it out. Paid somebody for this extension and I don't have to think anymore. Well, there it is. Sounds like you got all in control. That's what it's for. That's what the paid the paid programs are for. So you don't have to do it yourself. It's a little closer. I think I'm gonna scale that back a little bit more. You know what? Let me stop scraping it and then start just pushing it in a little bit more. Just gonna push it in. Wait, I'm gonna smooth that out. I'm just gonna kind of just move it closer to where we have like less of this here. The space in between the fingers doesn't exist because there's a little bit, there's some skin that connects like a web, like a webbing almost, and it varies from person to person. Some people aren't webbed at all, like this guy right here. You can see this is as much as you're gonna get right here. This little triangle is that skin, that webbed hand. But you're not gonna see it on this side. That's what we're trying to achieve here. See, we kind of have it. We have much smaller, that smaller triangle space there, the webbing, but it's a lot of space in between. Like we don't actually, you know what? I don't actually. Do I have that? I actually don't have this view of a hand. That might actually be helpful. But like I said, this is something that varies from person to person, so it's not that important to me. As long as it's an accurate hand that we can pose, it's anatomically correct. You know, we don't have to worry about all the little nuances. I'm not gonna say this character has this much webbing in between their hands. That's not the kind of detail I need to go into. Would it be you? I'm sure someone out there who is like who's a real stickler for the details would appreciate something like that. But I'm not gonna go that far into it. That's just that's a little redundant for me. I just want them to look like a real person's hand. That's all. So we'll just stick to that for now. All right. Maybe one day we can go and see, oh, how many moles does this person have? You know, so on and so forth. Until then, no. All right. This line should be up. So let's do that. I'm gonna push that up some. There. Now that's a little better. Just a little. I'm gonna push that up too. Hey, Nihao, welcome to the stream. Good morning. It's morning for you. It's morning for me still. So I'm saying good, but good day to you. We are continuing the hands. We have all of the fingers combined into the palm, and now we are basically connecting the fingers together because they are going to have these little areas here where they still feel like they are just tacked on, and we want to just combine it to make it look like it's one thing. So that's what we're doing right now. Working on the little meaty part of the palm. That is not something that we want right there. That right there. can probably pull that down. I'm seeing that. Like when you look through a hand, well, no, again, that's like the web. That's the webbing, but there's no webbing here. That's like that's literally just a wall. Let's see if I can grab in between the fingers here and just pull. And see if we can get something going. Can we? Can we do it? Can we win? Let me try filing this down from this angle. Now it's a plane. I just did that. I'm sorry. I wanted to see what would happen if I pulled it, and then I just kept pulling it. That's just a little bit of a unnatural form there. We will figure it out. It should not really be a thing. I want to avoid making webbed hands because when we remesh, I feel like that's going to mess it up. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to really, I want to keep them all separate because I've seen the problems that remeshing could cause for things that are too close together or even attached. You're going to get, it's going to look, maybe it's not so much like that, but you're going to get more stuff like this. It's like pretend like that's a, well, maybe not like that. It's going to look more like this, basically, at the web part. I think that's the best way I can explain it without actually having to, do it. Let's see. All right. So we're going to continue trying to attach together these little forms. We can add a bit of extra clay here to try to minimize that line, and then when we do remesh the hand, all that will be disappeared. So I'm only going to add a little bit of clay strips just to kind of dull that line a little bit. Just looking around the hand. Let me do that. Oops. The lines start to come back a little bit, so we're going to keep some extra clay there. We don't want to completely remove the line because there should be a line there. That's where the finger crease is at from doing that. Let's see. Grab the radius here. I'm gonna shave down some of this. Oops. Let's do that. I'm not using my stylus. It's much more comfortable for me to use the mouse. I can use the stylus, but I've been using the mouse lately. There's no real reason, just doing it, just cause. I have my other hand on the keyboard so I can do the shortcuts that I know. Even with the crease, it should be pretty much a straight thing. You don't really. I know I exaggerated the slight curve in between the digits, and that's what I'm trying to get rid of right now. This is not a slight curve. This is basically a bump. Like this is good, but it should be more like that. It should be a smooth transition to each digit. We got bang, bang, and then goes. Okay, we're gonna try to fix that for every finger. We kind of exaggerated the shape of that, so we're gonna try to make it more a little more subtle, starting with the pinky. So here we are. I'm gonna shave down the fingers a little bit, and that should be really all we need to do. Is just keep shaving them down until they are more level with each other. You don't want to completely remove that. Now it should be a little like should be subtle like that, but we should still have that strong, like the strong lines there. But from the side, it will be less noticeable. I think we should add clay there instead of take it away. So, oops, radius is too large, so let's lower the radius. We lowered it. Okay, there we go. I don't know why I didn't see the thing there. That's a little better. We still have to move the lines anyway. We should go like this because lines stretch vertically instead of horizontally. That'll kind of aid in the texture of the skin. Like you'll see lines go vertically instead of like that. So we're going along the finger here, and the only horizontal lines are these strong ones here where your fingers bend. Now I'm using my own hand as a reference for that. I can kind of see that in the reference a little bit here and there. You'll have more. I think you'll have more horizontal lines on this side of your hand. To see a lot of lines going the same way these lines are, which is horizontally, of course. We don't want that. That's what happens when you add. Sometimes you use a clay brush. We can fix that though. But you know what? We'll just do that. I don't know why that's a thing. I think that might be from having to remesh, but we're not going to remesh yet. I'm not going to remesh until I kind of want to hold off altogether until we can mirror the hand on the other side and then attach the hand back to the arm and then do a remesh. And we still have to do the toenails too. So I kind of want to do all of those and then the toenails and then remesh, and then we'll have a full body and we'll be good. We can start the retropology. Oh yeah, there's still one more thing I want to do on the face, and that is fix this part of the eyes. See, that's a little bit. It shouldn't be jagged. It should be completely smooth. So we want to make sure that's a thing before we start retropologizing. As far as I can tell, I don't see any other problems with the anatomy. So then we can start. Yeah, I don't really see much else. If anybody else does, let me know. We're supposed to be doing a better sculpt than the last one. That's always the goal. Like try to do better than the last time. We don't want to keep making the same mistakes over and over. All right. Oh, hold up. Hold up. Let me go back. I gotta see here where this line on this finger is. What in the world? I think that's from me adding the stuff on the other side. It's okay because, like I said, when we remesh, we'll definitely do a check and just fix everything right there, right then and there before we go on to. Oh yeah, the fingernails are all different. Okay, I know what happened. It's because I adjusted them when I kept copying them, and sometimes the form got bent out of shape, and I didn't really look at that, but it's not too late. We caught it. We can fix it. Heck. All right. Yeah, that needs to be pulled up some. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fix the shape of the fingernails. We just want to do this subtly. We don't want to pull everything up, just the fingernail portion. These lines should follow just a little bit. We only have to pull this up just a little bit because there you want that space there. That's about the right kind of space that we want right there. I don't know what this is, but we're gonna have to fix that too. Let's see. You know, it's funny. I did not actually adjust the index finger at all, but it is off. So I think that may be carryover from the placeholder finger, and we just didn't fix it. But no problem. Oh, they're about matched. So I got an idea. You know, since it's already there, let's see if pulling it up will help. Hmm. Yeah, even the fingernail's a little bit off. Just little small things here and there that we're going to try to fix. And increase the radius. I'm gonna move this up some. Move that fingertip. Now it doesn't look natural, but that's about where we want the line at. About right there. Now we just have to fix, you know, how it looks from every from every angle now. All right. We can do it. We will do it. Sculpt. How about this instead? Why don't we just redo the entire thing? It's kind of hard to keep everything the same when you make so many adjustments to the fingers. So I think what I'm going to do is just redo each finger as I see anything needs to be corrected. Smooth it out. Kind of like just a little soft reset there. And we have this here. This could be that could be fine, I think. We move it back some. This should all be smooth though. Let's see. Let's see if we can. Oops, that radius is way too small. Smooth it out. Okay, now we can redo some of the lines from the digit there from the joint. And you can always look at your own finger just to see how strong these lines actually are. They're always there. like probably even before you're born. I think they're probably there, but we got them. That's close enough, I think. You know, it's just a basic line. Where does it stop? It stops somewhere along the side. I honestly, there's really no real measurement to where how far you should go with these because it's different for everyone. So if if I had to say, I would just say just follow. If you're using a reference, just follow that. Or if you're using your own hand, and then just follow that too. I think we've done a little bit of both. This knuckle here is still a little too wide compared to the rest of the finger. It looks like it's swollen, like maybe torqued it the wrong way. Now it's swollen or something like that. So I'm gonna push that in just a little bit. Very subtle shapes on the finger here. Unless you're doing like some kind of a monster, which we aren't. We're doing a human. Come on. I'm checking this how these digits are shaped with a bump there. I'm deciding if I want to shave them down a little bit just to make those forms a little bit more subtle. So let's try to do this. While we're at it, I'm gonna shave that portion down too. I don't want the knuckles to stick out too much. Yeah, it's a little better. Just a little bit. We don't want that. We cannot use the clay brush too much. If we don't if we're holding off on remeshing, we can't use that brush. That brush will just screw everything up. That's my go-to brush. So I know when that brush does not work, then we can't do anything until we remesh. It's just the way it is. It's not like ZBrush where it just becomes harder and harder to manipulate the polygons. You get things like that happening when you try to do things. So, and we're already pretty dang high. Wait, we're already pretty dang high. So as far as the polygons and whatnot, so we're going to try to not remesh too much until we absolutely have to. Next time I'm going to just follow the notes that I had so we don't have such high numbers. Okay, that does not look too bad. I think we're good with the index finger. Let me do some of the lines here and the knuckles and the joints. Just a little bit. And then we can probably move on to the next fingers. I don't think there's anything more that we need to do with the index finger. I'm looking at the thumb right now though. The thumb is somehow gotten misshapen. I think we did a lot of tweaks and didn't really check everything. So here we are. Fix it. It's just the fingernail the thumbnail. The shape of the thumb itself seems to be okay. Something's got to be done with the thumbnail, so let's try that. Let's try to fix it. I'm gonna make that line right here a little bit stronger. Okay, I don't know what that is, but we're gonna get rid of it. Scrape it and scrape it down some. It's a little more shaped like a thumbnail now. I think I know what I was trying to do. I do believe that I messed this up trying to shape it. It should, hold on. It's kind of more shaped like this, actually, now that I'm looking at a thumbnail. You kind of have this little area that comes out and then it curves in. We just have like a U shape. That's not quite the exact shape of the thumb. At least the one that I'm looking at. We're following the reference, so that's what we're going to try to do here. Maybe something like this. Just slight. It's not going to be a corner. It's not going to be an edge, like bang, bang. It's just going to go, just a little bit like that. It could also be the way you cut the nails, too. You know, doesn't always have to be the natural shape, but just maybe something a little bit like more like that. We're going to make them look even more like a nail once we bring it over the thumb tips and the tips of the phalanges, okay? Make that line just a little bit more heavier. Might be a little too heavy. I'm gonna smooth that one out just a little bit. All right. There, that's something. You got something there. Something is there. Now we're gonna completely focus on the middle finger like we just did for the index finger. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put the lines, redefine the lines back in here because this is where the joint's supposed to be. The space in between the digits and this little smooth area here where your cuticle is, it's pretty much the same for every finger. I think what I did here was I made the fingernail for this particular finger a little too small. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch it back down here just ever so slightly. Hey, Sarah DL22, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Ace. I am a hobbyist. I like drawing. I am learning 3D sculpting. This is I've done very few meshes, and I'm learning how to do everything in Blender. I've actually learned in ZBrush, Substance Painter. I don't have licenses for that anymore, so we're doing everything in Blender, and some things I have to relearn. I'm doing 3D meshes to use as reference for a webcomic that I'm developing. I've already written the webcomic, and we're just designing the characters. This is the second character by order of appearance here. The first one is not completely done yet, but we are working on it. Welcome in, Util Sator Chelo. Sorry if I butchered that, but thank you so much for rating. I don't know if we have anyone, but I'm gonna shout you out. Give me a second. Sorry. Welcome in, everybody. I'm working on the hands now. The hands, we are just finalizing the form of the hands here. We made some adjustments. I duplicated this finger to all these other fingers, and I kind of warped them a little bit by shaping them. Oh no, it's okay. No, that's my fault. I, I apologize for butchering the pronunciation here. Yeah, nothing to apologize for. I'm gonna do the best that I can when it comes to names. Yeah, I pulled them and stretched them a little bit. So now we're trying to get them back into looking more like fingers again. Before we continue on here, I'm working on the creases in between each finger. We're trying to get them in a more believable spot here and not make them less uh, strong, in the finger. We're looking for more subtle bumps here, and I have a lot of peaks and valleys in my current. We want to get them like this, a little bit more like this, okay? And right now we have very, very, very strong deformed areas here that we got to fix. We're getting all the fingers, and then we're going to move on. So that's what I'm doing. I'm working on this side. We're going to try to match the joints on this side, the joints on this side. And now what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pull out some of the crevices here. So I feel that they need to be redone. We want to match the size and the shape on each finger, regardless of length. I think this length is the only thing that's really different from every other finger. These two fingers are very similar, and this one's just slightly smaller as far as the lines and the spaces in the fingers are concerned. So we are moving on with that. I think I want the line about, let's see, well, first of all, we have to match it with the other side. So about here. It's roughly a similar size to this fingertip here. It might be a little high, and we can have more than one crease there. So, like I have two on my middle finger. I have one here, and I got one now. You probably can't see it, but I have one here, and then one down there. And it's probably not very, very noticeable, as you can see. You could probably see the one on the top is very faint, but that's what I'm trying to emulate here. I got anatomy for sculptors, which is very useful for sculpting. These are some references from anatomy of sculptors that I can show on Twitch. There's a lot of naked people, and Twitch does not like that. But we have hands here, and hands are okay as far as I can tell. So here we are. Let's see. All right, so let's continue on with that. I'm gonna put that line there. I don't, it's different for everybody. Like I said, just follow. If you're using a reference, just follow your reference. That's what I'm doing. Let's see what we got here. Now, even though this is like slightly larger than this one, this space between this line and this line is slightly more than this one. I'm gonna put a line. These two lines are matched together, it seems. Also, I'm gonna move this in a little bit. We don't want to make his joints look swollen, so that's what we're gonna try to do here. Oh. Uh-oh, we got a little dent there. So I solved the lag issue. There is a shortcut where I can press Control Shift Enter to auto send the translated text rather than me having to copy and paste. Oh, okay. So it was just just a. All right. So it's just a matter of just how you input it then. Hmm. And poking around. Oh, hello. I have to leave, but good luck with the hand. It's definitely not an easy part. Enjoy. Yes, and thank you so much for the raid, Sarah. I'm assuming you're. Are you also an artist as well? Do you like to do 3D? It didn't show. I can't see when I shouted you out what your last thing was. I don't know if that's an add-on or what, but it doesn't show in my. I only have the chat popped out from Twitch. I don't actually have Twitch up. I should probably change that so I too can raid more often. I can see who's on. Right now, I can't see who's on Twitch when I normally stream. Um, oh, great! That's wonderful. Yeah, I like making characters. This is actually my most favorite thing to do when drawing is just creating characters. these characters are a little bit more grounded in reality, but I like doing pushing it beyond that most of the time. But I the story that I created is more it's slightly more grounded in reality than anything else that I normally would create. I like doing all kinds of stuff, but characters are definitely something that I don't stray too far away from. Characters of all kinds, whatever it is, creature designs, that's also very fun. Probably more fun than characters, I would say. I just don't do it as much, but I definitely enjoy doing all kinds of things. That's just one of my favorite things to do. Yes, characters the best. Yes, I think I agree. I'm trying to determine here. Yeah, this is a little bit higher, just slightly higher than it might be that I need to move down the lines just slightly. I don't want to deform the finger. I haven't really had the opportunity yet to do creature. Yeah, I started fairly well, I don't know. I've done creatures but like really like sat down and try to study. It's been a while. It's been like about 10 years since I really like really just sat down and designed a creature, but I do like doing it. When I did do it, I enjoyed it very much, and I definitely want to keep doing it. Just as far as really just trying to hammer down a design. See, that's what happens when you scooch everything down. You get those strong crevices that we're trying to correct now. So sometimes moving things isn't always the answer. I might even try when I finish my character. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I'm definitely going to give you a follow just as soon as I'm done here because I would love to see your work. I like seeing other people's work, regardless of skill level. It's always fun watching other people how they do things and what they come up with, and all of that. Really, no matter what it is. I don't like. It could be any subject. It's fine. It doesn't matter to me. Also, it's very usually these types of streams are very chill and relaxing too. So it's very cool to put things. I made an Instagram, but I have not uploaded anything to it yet. I am lagging behind as far as my socials are concerned. I this is I haven't been I've only been streaming for a few months and I have not actually uploaded anything yet. So I'm kind of I do want to do that again. I'm a little bit lagging behind, but I will get to it. I promise. I have a few projects that I still have to put the finishing touches on that I have not done yet. I kind of made a promise to myself not to to upload something that's completely done that I don't ever have to ever go back to. Because in the past I did have a DeviantArt account and I did post often in various forums and um I wish sometimes that some of my projects I just left in the oven a little bit longer because they are like really like small little details that sometimes I forget to put in. Oh yeah, this is super powerful. I'm looking around in the back end of this translation engine, and it has the ability to let me update it myself with slang abbreviations, etc. Oh, all right, cool. So you can kind of like update it yourself, then, in a sense. That's gonna take that's that keeping up with all that stuff. That sounds like a bit of a journey there. Maybe if I put a lower line instead of a higher line, you know. Sometimes having multiple lines can kind of give you a little bit of a deception. My teacher always told me to wait several days before publishing so you don't regret. Exactly. And you know what? Being sometimes you have to learn those things the hard way, like I did. I there was a time where I just wanted to scrub everything off and start over, but I was talked out of it, and I'm kind of glad that it happened that way. But sometimes when I look at my old art, I'm like, man, I could have easily fixed some of these things, and I just and you kind of get into the trap of redrawing something over and over and reposting it. Yeah, well, if I do it myself, it's a huge chore, but I can almost guarantee you if I poke around online, I can find where somebody has published live. Well, that's an option too, yes. I have such a backlog of photos that I think that would, doing it yourself would be like if you had an intimate knowledge of the language, translate it, say like if you were like the best, well not the best, but you very because you can speak, read, and write a language, but translating it is a whole other skill, right? So if you could translate Portuguese really well or Russian better than anyone else, then I could see doing it yourself might be have more merit than looking for a library. But um, yeah, you can always look for a library as well. Yeah, I have such a backlog of photos that often is 1 or 2 years from the time I take the image to the time it shows up on Instagram, and there's still sometimes regret. There are yeah, there's I have like a couple of things that I want to just make sure everything is good. That way I can post it and say, yes, at this time, this is the best that I could do, and then move from there and then try to build upon that. That's really it. It's not really, it's just more like just wait, just hold on a second, just take your eyes off of it for a while and come back. I know there's some things that I have to do to it that I did not manage to do on stream, but we're gonna get there. And that's kind of the reason why I'm putting these hands here so much because we have we have one mesh ready to be textured and put the hair and all the bells and whistles for the looks and whatever. We did the clothes, everything, and I want this second mesh to be an improvement on the first. So I'm trying not to create or take too many shortcuts here. So I'm just making sure that we spend the appropriate time on each part, and I hope it's not too boring. But we're going to do it regardless. I really enjoy doing this and streaming it, so it doesn't bother me too much if I spend too long on one thing. Regardless if I'm streaming or not, I dream I'm not dream, I draw every morning, almost every morning. I just haven't been posting anything. I'm a little lagging behind that, but there will be things there. But yes, to answer your question, I do have an Instagram, just nothing on it currently. So I don't blame you if you don't follow it because it's going to be a minute before I can get stuff on there. I haven't done any like the purpose of these is so I can start doing the character turnarounds for all my characters and like me practicing drawing emotions because I know how to rig the characters' faces and there's going to be a lot of panels where the face is the subject because they're going to be talking and speaking and looking and you want to convey that emotion. There's a lot of webcomic artists out there that don't really do that. There's usually very subtle emotions or they're just blank face the entire time. I don't want to do that for my art, and it's okay if anyone else does, and it's not a critique. It's just a standard for me that I don't want to do that. I don't mind if other people do it. It's just I want to do something different for my web comic. When I was little, I took a stack of paper and just folded it, and it just made a comic right off the bat. But this time, we're planning things out. I'm looking at the history of many web comics that are posted online and seeing where they went wrong. The my only detriment really is that I'm doing this all myself, so it's going to take me longer. But I don't have to worry about another artist, or another writer quitting the project for whatever reason. There's no money involved because it's just me. I don't have to pay anyone. I can draw it and write it myself. It'll just take longer, and I know exactly what I want to draw and write. I'm not writing it as I go along like I used to when I was a kid. It's complete. There's a beginning and an end to this story already done. So all I have to do is draw it. It's literally all I have to do. And I consider myself more of an artist than a writer. So I should not have any problems drawing it. I just have to draw it. Really, that's really it. So I try to, there's a lot of everything that I just said is the reason why people do not finish their webcomics. So I'm trying to avoid that. I want, somebody's out there who's bored and they want to read a comic or something, and they can have a full start to finish comic ready to go. I do have two other volumes planned, but my plan is to write every volume to have a beginning or end in case something happens to where I can't start the next volume. At least if I have a volume done, you have a beginning and an end, and it's all standalone. That's my goal. It's not written to be dependent on, oh, you got to see what happens in the next one. No, it's a full story, just in case. The only thing that I really have to consider is where I'm going to post it. I'm not really feeling webtoons, but I do want to do my own website, and I'll probably find other comic posting to link from there to my website. It's just a matter of security because you have to pay extra for all that stuff. So, but that's really the only thing that I have to worry about. Everything else is in place. And then once I start posting pages, I can start writing volume two. That would be nice. The only thing is now there's a volume two, so the story doesn't. There's more. There could be more to the story, but it's essentially a standalone at the end of the day. Now I'm looking at. That's okay. I'm gonna leave that there. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know if I should. Let me scrape down just some of that there. I don't want. I want that to be a more subtle thing. That joint is a very long joint. It makes the joint look long. Well, actually, no, that's right. I think that's right. It just looks weird. Okay, how about this? Pull that up some. Hands being hands. Just like that. This is the the angle from my angle. I don't think that'll ever be an angle in anything. Yeah, this line aligns with this line, and this line is slightly above that line, and then there could be multiple lines. I think I'm just gonna leave it. I think that's fine. Yeah, all right. We'll see. We'll see that everything is a whole when all the parts are together. We'll see. Okay. Now I'm going to just smooth that out just a little bit. The purpose of you can see some of the line there. We're gonna leave that. I think that should go away when we remesh it. Check the other side. Okay, we're good. Hmm. I think I'm gonna scrape just that just a little bit, even though that's not really a big issue. I'm gonna scrape it away just a little bit. I don't want any kind of artifacts with our hand here when we remesh it that we have to deal with. Let me see. I am still looking at the middle finger. I think we can move on. Maybe we'll make the line just a little bit more stronger. And I want to scrape this just a little bit, and it has the added benefit of giving us those vertical line textures that could be in fingers, of the skin of the fingers. So I wonder if there's anyone out there who's ever like done you probably textured this, but like the the fingerprints or the handprint. We can do a handprint, but like the maybe the fingerprints. That would be what I call dedication. I think we shouldn't regret anything. We have to start somewhere and learn. Anyway, I really have to go. Almost 6 p.m. at home. I enjoyed a lot being here. Good luck with all the work you have. Have a nice day. See you. Thanks so much, Sarah. Thank you so much for stopping by. And thank you for the follow as well. I'm trying to catch your next stream just as soon as, well, hold on. I think I can just follow you from here, as a matter of fact. Even though I don't have Twitch up, I think I can do it through OBS. Yes, I can. Yeah. Take care. Have a great night. All right. Hmm. Let's see. I'm looking at, there should be some lines there, some crevice there. I just don't want it to have the line from attaching something that was not previously attached. We don't want those kinds of lines. We only want the lines that we sculpt. So we're going to take care of that. Well, put something just a little bit there. Okay, we don't want to make them too strong. All right, so now we can probably match everything we've done on this finger to this finger. Only problem is it's a little, the underside of this finger is a little too much here. It's like we got this, and then we got a bang, and then it comes all the way up. So I'm gonna take the scrape brush. I'm gonna scrape it all down, and we're gonna kind of try to redo it a little bit. And then let me see if I can try to use the, no, we cannot. that's, that's destroying the other side of the finger. We cannot do that. So what we're going to do instead, we're just going to pull, kind of even out the finger here and do it over. Just kind of try to solidify it. I'm just pulling back and looking around here. Okay. I'm going to raise the radius just a little bit more. Well, okay. I think those are just auto saves. Surprisingly, we haven't had as much lag as we did with the first one. I think that was because of the undo steps. I had them all the way at 256, and that kind of lags your system a little bit. We took it down to 32, and it seems to be doing much better. We've gone much higher without little issue. This guy here, he has much more polygons than the first guy. But what I'm thinking about doing is lowering the undo steps even more. I'm guessing it's like many copies of this guy in every step, but minus with minus the change. Maybe that's how it works. I don't know. I'm not a Blender expert. We are just trying to learn how to do characters in Blender. Okay, now I'm going to scrape that down a little bit more. All right, so the thing is, we want this line to match right about right there. Now, I looked away, so, just to be certain, we can do maybe like a little sideline here. We can match it easier that way. Now we can just cut it over. Like so. This should be longer. This finger should be a little bit longer. Actually, you know what? Maybe not. This line is too high, I think. Can we go back? I'm gonna make the finger a little bit longer anyway, because you have to remember it's parted more from the hand, so it's gonna look like it's shorter. If it's all together, it should be the same size as this finger, roughly the same size. Hey, Sticks Color, thank you for the raid. Thank you so much. Welcome in, Raiders. My name is Ace. I am a hobbyist. I am learning how to do characters in Blender, and I am using them as reference to make a webcomic. Welcome in, everybody. Hey, Sticks Color, Smart G, welcome in, welcome in. Hope you're having a great morning. We're using these meshes as reference to use in a webcomic that I'm creating. It's already written. We're just designing the characters now, and then I'm going to reference them and draw them, of course. Definitely wasn't already here yet. Thank you so much. Hold on, let me give you a quick shout out. Um, what kind of art do you like? Do you like you like 2D? You like doing 3D too? I learned this about I learned how to sculpt this about a year to a year and a half ago. It's been quite a journey. I really enjoyed doing this. It's taught me a lot about anatomy, and I think it actually helped me improve my drawing too. I went back to doing a drawing a few months ago, and seemed to, having not drawn anything in 2D in quite some time because I've been practicing this, I felt like that I've gotten some improvement. Mostly a 2D artist, but I mess around in Blender from time to time. Yeah, I've just wanted to see how my drawings would turn out if I had a really good reference to what I was doing. Sometimes there were some things that, some things that I didn't really, draw before, and I would go and try to find a reference on Google Images, and that would take a lot of time. So it started off as an experiment, and then it became a genuine interest of, just sculpting characters. I started off with just using the base 3D meshes in DAZ 3D and just like referencing those. And I saw there was a difference, like a pretty decent difference. So I was like, okay, what if I just had like my just an exact reference of my characters that I can pose and rig? I took the time to sculpt and rig and texture and all that, and it's yeah, I really enjoy doing this. It's really fun. Takes it's a little bit longer, but once everything is set up, the workflow of doing webcomic pages should be a little bit faster. Thank you so much for following Drensoft Games. Hope you're having a great day. Really appreciate you. I'm working on the hand. My goal is to just make every mesh better than the last, and I think so far we are accomplishing that. I'm trying to make sure that the hands make sense. Essentially, we are trying to line up the digits, the creases in the skin here, and we're going to stretch the fingernails over the tips. And after that, you know, have to reattach the hand because technically it's not attached to the body right now. You can see the dividing line right there. We're going to get the toenails, and then the body should be ready to be manually retopologized. You know, I normally would do that in ZBrush because I learned how to do all this in ZBrush, and then I switched to Blender because it's free. It's just slightly different, so some things we have to learn over again. I got this add-on here, Quad Remesher, but supposedly it's made by the same people who made C Remesher, but it does not work the same. So I decided to learn how to do it manually, and it's much better. I can control the form of the of how the low poly mesh is going to turn out, and have it look very close to this once you bake the details of the high poly onto the low poly, but with a fraction of the polygons, which would be very helpful for rendering animation. That's going to be the next thing that I dabble into. I've always dabbled in animation, but I really want to sit down and figure out how to animate stuff in Blender. I don't know if I'll get to do that anytime soon on stream because I don't know the first thing about animating in Blender, but that's definitely something that I will definitely get into in the future. And every now and then we do some gameplay streams. We did one last night with Shadow Hearts. I've only beaten 6 RPGs, 6 JRPGs, well, just traditional RPGs in general in my entire life. And I'm playing through all these RPGs that people recommend to me. And yeah, we're going to play through them and see. Playing games is research, yes, because I want to try to make a game one day, and it might be, you know, an RPG. So I would like to, you know what I would like to know that you know, how an RPG was done in the past. You don't see those types of RPGs too much anymore. Art comes pretty. I mean, yeah, it's very good to, you know, keep studying and keep practicing, but it comes relatively easy, the art stuff. So I can easily fit other things into my schedule, like animation, things like that. Working on a bigger RPG as a concept artist right now, it taught me not to want to make big RPGs privately. Well, I hope that that's not something that I end up giving up on. It doesn't have to exactly be. Do have some ideas for a game. I just have to learn the programming side of it, and I can do the characters. That obviously will be in 3D. I don't really know about sprite art. I have not done pixel art yet, but you know, you should learn how to draw anyway before you do some. I guess some people who are pixel artists, who are very good at pixel artists, have said that um, not to learn how to draw starting in pixel art. You know, you learn how to draw first and then convert that into pixel art. So I've heard. I'm not really an expert on that. That's just a recurring thing that I've heard over the years. No, I would suggest you make an RPG. You will find out while doing it whether you like doing it, and you will learn to feel the scope out. Yeah, 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 yeah. I agree. Yeah, you know, I don't want to. I want to make sure that, and of course, to get some inspiration from playing actual RPGs. That I'm not doing anything that's, you know, already been done. I want to try to put my own spin on it. The basic idea will remain the same. But if there's something out there to be like, oh well, I want to do that for my game. I'm gonna try to find a way to you know, to do it. But I do have an idea. It just needs a, you know, just like all my ideas, they just need to be set in stone. You know, hammered out. Well, you're on a good path there. Good luck. Oh well, thank you so much, Six Color. Thank you for the raid again. Okay. All right. So that doesn't look too bad. I think the pinky is a little bit too long. Again, we actually measured it out. This fingertip should be right here where these lines are supposed to be. You know what? I'm gonna add a couple more lines there because it shouldn't be so bare. But this pinky needs to be shortened. Oh, I kind of dug in a little bit too far there. We don't have to make it, we don't have to just really just like gouge into his hand. I don't know what happened here, but we'll fix it. We'll fix it right now. It may have been something that I've done. Oh, thank you, Robin Blind. Robin Blind, thank you. Thank you so much for following. Welcome to the stream. I think the pinky should definitely be shortened, so we're going to try to shorten it. And the knuckles are just slightly swollen looking, so we're going to try to squeeze that in just a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to undo everything we just did by forcefully shortening. Thank you so much, Sticks, for the alert. Hope you have a great day. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, so we're gonna undo everything we just did by trying to shorten this finger, and then we have to fix it again. But we want to get it down to we're about right there. I think his pinky is just too big, and it could be a little thinner too. Oh, we don't want to mess with this finger. Our radius is too large there. I just want to get it to where I can grab the finger and just shorten it without stretching everything, you know. I think what I could do, let me try this. Let's return it back to where it was somewhat, and then we can try a mask. So let me grab that. Oh, hang on. Lasso it. Like so. I want to try to just get the finger. So I'm going to erase some of that mask. Just going to erase it off the palm a little bit. And okay, invert it. Up. We'll go back to sculpt mode, of course. Mask. Let's see. We're going to set pivot to no, sorry. Set pivot to mask border. Let's flip it. One second. Mask border. There we go. Okay. Maybe we should use scale instead of move. Oh, well, actually, you know what? Yeah, we could have done that from the get go. To be honest, let's rotate. Scale is what we want. We can just scale it down. That's about the right size of a pinky. We'll just have to fix all of that around the knuckle, but that's better than what we were about to do. Yeah, that looks a little better. Now, let's get all the way in. I'm going to smooth out some of the deformity there. Now, I know we are a little short on polygons here. I'm trying to avoid remeshing because we're not going to remesh just yet. We're going to wait until the hand is together and we got the toenails on, then remesh, because that's really going to kick up the thing. And I also want to go over the eyes before I do that. So we're trying to avoid remeshing for now. What I want to do is try to add a little bit more around here. Hopefully we're not destroying anything on that side. We are not. You can probably follow the bony landmarks and return the knuckle to its former glory that we had it before we had to make a little alterations there. And this is I'm just going to go around it a little bit. Also, what happened here? Oh, well, that's not going to work. Now, is it? Let me do this. Scrape. And then let's pump up. Now, remeshing will fix, well, it will at least get rid of all that stuff. But we want to make sure that we have our forms back before that happens. Just so we have less to correct. And we're going to scrape down. Oh, well, I don't, we don't want to go that far. We just want to scrape just that part. So we're going to lower the radius just a little bit. Actually, let's do it vertically. We don't want to do it horizontally. All right. It's somewhat repaired. remeshing will take us the rest of the way, but we got something a little better than before. Just smoothing out some of the details there. Now, how about this? How about we take and kind of dig into this a little bit. Oh wait, I think I'm going the wrong way here. I was holding control when I was doing that with the draw sharp, and it was doing the opposite of what I wanted. We want to create that crevice that's in between the bones and the tendons here. Not too much, but just enough to kind of accentuate the lowest part of, this is the peak and this is the valley. We want to accentuate the valley a little bit more. Yeah, that because that valley it wraps all the way around in between the fingers. So we want to make sure that there's not an edge here. You see, it kind of has that little edge right there. We want to take that and we want to kind of just make that a little bit of a crevice in between. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Looking around the hand, serving it. The skin on the knuckles, that's another thing that's going to wildly differ from person to person. I think maybe we can just add some line. I don't know. We probably should either go horizontal or vertical and not both like I just did there, but like I had them all looking like this at first, but then all the changes kind of warped the knuckles a little bit. So maybe I'm just going to add some subtle lines here and there. I'm going to try to make them not look like a pattern. This one, some of them don't really show too well, so we could probably smooth these out a little bit more. Actually, we can smooth them all out. So they're not really super prominent, and of course, that differs from person to person. I think we'll just leave them like that. I'm just see when I smooth them out, I kind of get webbed again. We don't want to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrape instead of smooth. That should not be a thing there. It's like a extra bump. That's not something that should be there. I'm going to use the clay strip brush and hope that it doesn't affect anything else, because sometimes it does that when I don't have enough polygons. See, we're getting just a little thing here. That's okay. That's not a big deal. We don't want to use it too much because we have to remesh. All right. Now I just want to kind of pump up the palm a little bit. It's like little meaty pads here. And let's see. Just looking around, observing everything. This part right here needs to be beefed up some. Let me go back. Actually, you know what? Let's take that back. Raise the radius some. I think that's a little too thick on this side. Let me see if I can push this side down some. I'm looking at my hand, even though I have anatomy for sculptors. I like comparing that reference to this reference, so. Which is my hand. My hand is the reference as well. All right, so hold on, wait. Grab this and pull that out some. Looking around, just observing the hand. Sorry, I'm kind of just really focused in on trying to get this going here. Spend a lot of time on this hand. I feel like it's a little, the knuckles are, I may have put a little bit too much distance in between the knuckles there. It might be just it's very noticeable from that angle. We'll have to smooth some of this out when we remesh it. Okay. I'm going to start working on the palm. We're going to add some wrinkles to the palm now. I'm looking at my reference for that. I'm just adding some stuff here and there. It help define when you start putting details. Sometimes it helps define the form a little bit. kind of like the fingers. You know, when you start putting the creases in, you can kind of tell that um, how the proportions are once you start putting in those types of details. Like yeah, like I know that once I put in, like I said, if I put a line in here, I'll know if it's too big or too small, based off of where it is from this line or this line. So it kind of helps with the proportions a little bit. Right, squeeze in that. How about that? And then we have that line. It kind of follows this little meaty area. I'm kind of just sketching it in at this point. They're not really solid lines, right? You know, they kind of have like some little creases within the lines a little bit, so it kind of works. This line, this strong line right here, kind of goes into this line a little bit, which kind of ends right about there. You have something that kind of looks more like a palm with the lines there now. And then you have these pieces of skin that kind of stretch into the thumb a little bit. And try to add some of those. I don't know if I can actually make it stretch because that might get deformed when we rig it and, you know, try to move the hand. That is very detailed compared to the rest of the arm, which is very smooth. We're going to work. We're going to go over it once he's fully whole. We're going to fix all of that. Just really try to add more stuff to there. Some of it kind of gotten lost in the remeshing. Sometimes the details get lost. You have to kind of reinforce them a little bit. Okay. All right. I'm going to stretch the fingernails over the tips now. Let's see. We're going to use a mask like we did before with the pinky. Use a regular mask. We don't need a lasso or anything like that because we have to follow the specific forms that we have done so far. I'm just going to color in one fingernail at a time. He's got a painted fingernail. He's like I don't know, like a goth or something. It's going goth. Let's see, Control I, we're gonna flip that. And I think we can just use the grab tool for this. I'm pretty sure that's what I did last time. See what I did when I did on my last mesh was I did the fingernails, but when I did the red topology, I didn't put the polygons in the correct place. I kind of stretched them over the fingernails, and now the fingernails that I put in are lost on the lower poly mesh. So I want to not do that this time. And all that really means is I'm trying to show you real quick how this kind of stretches over the fingernail. You want to put the polygons under there too, so you can keep those details. We're going to make sure that we get that done this time. On all my practice sculpts, if I remeshed it with a automatic thing, let's put that away so we don't accidentally hit remesh. All my practice sculpts lost the detail around the eyes when I had them in ZBrush. We fixed it by just generally putting planes here will keep all these details in. These have to be adjusted, of course. That's really the only thing left. But if you put the planes under there, you won't lose these details at all. Automatically remeshing it just does not. That's the first thing that goes is the eye. So we fixed that. Now on our our second official mesh, it's the fingernails that are losing. Sorry, our first official mesh our fingernails are losing the details. So now on our second, we're going to fix that. And then from there, it's just generally making the red topology cleaner than it was before because having done it for the first time on my last mesh, it's a little sloppy. So we're going to make it much cleaner this time. We're just trying to, plug in all the leaks so we can make better meshes in the future. I'm going to lift up the fingernail a little bit off of the finger because I can see that it's clipping in the mask a little bit. We don't want to make his fingernails too long. Just long enough to where you can tell he has fingernails, okay? But yeah, that'll do. And now it makes his hands just a little bit more realistic. We want to make them just slightly long enough. Maybe that's a little too long, but just long enough to where we can keep the details of the fingernails in. It's really all we have to do. Since we're using them as a reference, we can control the length however we want. I don't think that's too long, though. You don't want them to make them look, more, feminine. That's more of a, I'm sure there's a lot of middle-aged people out there that don't have their fingernails super long, so or men anyway. All right, I'm just gonna center it a little bit because it looks like it's off center, doesn't it? There. We just want to be able to get polygons underneath there so we can keep the fingernails. That's literally the only thing that I'm worried about. That's good enough. Okay. Alt M. And then we're going to do the same thing for the other 4 fingers. And then that's pretty much it. I don't think there's anything more I can do to the hand here. Maybe bring this up a little bit more. I just noticed that it looks like something heavy just dropped down right there, and it's excruciatingly in pain here from having a broken pinky. We're gonna fix that. I just noticed that. That's why it's always important to kind of like just look at things from different angles so you can see. That's one thing that I like about sculpting is that you can easily fix the form just by rotating. With 2D, you just have to flip the image and you can tell right away, all the things. But I mean, obviously this is a little bit more. There's a little bit more into than this. You have to kind of sculpt it from every angle. You can't just sculpt it from this angle and be done because once you flip over here, everything's just gonna not look right. So you kind of have to do a little more with this. Obviously, flipping an image is much easier than this, but I like it because you can tell if something is wrong just by moving the camera. All right, so we're going to do this index finger like so. Let's Control I to flip it. We got a little bit of the skin there, so let's do the mask over again. I'm going to decrease the radius. All right. Do not want to get the skin, so let's just try to stick to the fingernail. It's going to look really weird when we stretch it. Okay. Control I. You know what? Let's see what happens if I stretch it. Let's see what happens. I'm going to leave it like that. That's not so bad. Just a little bit. It doesn't look like we have to lift. I'm going to lift them up just a little bit. It doesn't look like we had to, but I'm going to lift them up anyway, just a little bit. Okay, we can get polygons up under there. All right, we'll leave it. Alt M. And we'll have to probably smooth out the fingernails a little bit more. We don't want them to look like they're stretched, right? Usually they're round. They do have like vertical lines sometimes. I don't know if that's a health issue though. I hope I hope not. I think that I thought I read somewhere that could that's an indicator of some kind of health, but um, I'm not really sure. But for the most part, you could probably put vertical lines, spaced out there if you wanted to detail them in some sort of way. Before we go any further, let's save it. We have not saved it in a while. I know it's probably our auto saving, but we want to make sure that we get a save in. Okay, Control I. Just going to stretch them all out, just a little bit. Now that's clipping a little bit. Let's lift it. All right. Try to keep them relatively the same length. It might look a little manicured, but I don't think I'm gonna go take the extra out. Try to make them look like mine, like they're all jagged and uneven. They are cut. I do cut them. It's just sometimes I don't go through the trouble of trying to make them look perfect. It's not really, just as long as they're not, I don't scratch myself, I'm good. Okay, we got two more fingers. We could probably put more polygons there, like probably just take a couple quick strokes of the brush. Hopefully that won't mess anything up. All right, mask. No, this mask. We don't want to lasso it. Although, I'm sure that could work. You could probably just trace all around, but we're just gonna color it in. It's super simple. It's not really a big deal. I don't think it'll matter one way or the other. The only time you'll save is just not having to color this in, but it's a small area, so you're not gonna save that much time. And we only have to do this once more. Uh-oh, no problem. I colored outside the lines. So we're gonna uncolor those lines. All right. It's okay, it's still messed up. That's okay. It shouldn't matter. I'm gonna crease the radius a little bit more, and now we're just gonna pull it out there, pull out the fingernail. We're gonna try to keep it somewhat even. Where are we at over here? I'm gonna move it over just a little bit to that side because the side changes every time I move it, so I'm not gonna say left or right. When I flip upside down, it's completely different. That's more or less even. And there's enough space in there to get some polygons up under there. So we'll leave it. Okay. I'm gonna alt M that. We don't want to leave the masks on. All right, so we're gonna this is why when you have a stylus, you should use that for things like this. My stylus is right over there, but I'm not gonna put it on. I learned how to do this with the mouse, so I'm more comfortable with the mouse. But I do use a stylus. I just haven't been using it for whatever reason. All right, increase the radius once again, probably for the last time. Just gonna pull the fingernails out. I think they're a little off. Let's move it to the side like so. Okay, I think that's good. Alt M, I'm gonna save it. All right, GHM. I want to increase this here. So I did not see that. Kind of, that was a bit of an oversight. We can't do it. We can't do it with that brush, obviously. I just saw what happened, so we're going to pick it up with the grab tool. Just lift it up some and just make sure that that's not like an area where it's just messed up. There was a big dent here, so we're just trying to undent it a little bit. Smooth that out. Okay, it looks a little better. Actually, it looks much better. But now it doesn't look like it's broken. Completely snapped into. We don't want that. It's going to look really weird if we bend it into a fist once it's rigged. Okay, honestly, I can't really see anything else that I need to fix with this hand. I think we're good. But what I will do, let's see. All right, we have a hand here. We are reaching the end of our time here. The only thing left that I have to do is just some general tweaks around the eyes and do the toenails, and then we can combine the hand. Okay, I'm gonna save that for tomorrow though. Let's see if there's anybody out there that we can raid. Um, give me 1 second. I gotta have to log into Twitch on my streaming computer. Wait, I can check actually. I can check on my other computer. 1 second. Okay, I got a few people.
I'm all set.
All right, I got one person. I just need to log in. Give me 1 second to log in. We're going to rate that person. Oh, wait, actually, I don't have to log in. I can just rate them right now. What am I talking about? Hang on. Okay. All right. I want to thank everybody who stopped by today. I will be back tomorrow. I appreciate you watching the VOD. I appreciate you watching on YouTube. We're going to continue finalizing this mesh tomorrow. So if you're around, I will see you tomorrow. Okay. Take care. Have a great day.